We're gonna have yet another conversation about Disney and ask ourselves, are they finally abandoning woke ideology? And this is all because we got a story out of Disney's Pixar. It says Disney pulls transgender storyline from Pixar's Win or Lose streaming series. Now we've seen as Disney has been on a bit of a rampage injecting woke ideology and specifically LGBTQ films into its newer projects. We all got to see the not so secret gay agenda that Disney executives were talking about behind the scenes.
Our leadership over there has been so welcoming to my not at all secret gay agenda.
Sort of ushering forward a new era of promotion and representation of LGBTQ themes and characters. But now it seems like they're moving back. And instead of Disney saying, you know, we're removing this character or this storyline, surely because it doesn't fit in the story, they're saying, no, we're removing it for the sake of parents and their relationship with their children, which is something we haven't heard from Disney in a long time. We all knew that Bob Iger, the CEO, was saying, we need to step out of the culture war. Disney is not about politics, it's about storyline. But while he was saying that to the public, Disney was very clearly churning out projects that were full of woke ideology and woke storylines. But now it seems they may be moving in a different direction. Let's hear about this series. It says the series follows a co-ed middle school softball team named the Pickles in the week leading up to their championship game. Each one of the 8 episodes center on the off-the-field life of a character and their point of view, whether it be a player, parent, a coach, or an umpire. A spokesperson for Disney confirmed that the story arc was removed, providing the following statement to THR, The Hollywood Reporter. Quote, when it comes to animated content for younger audiences, we recognize that many parents would prefer to discuss certain subjects with their children on their own terms and timeline. Now, this is something we haven't heard from Disney in a long time. In fact, it seems that from the perspective of executives and writers behind the scenes, they wanted to have these conversations with children before parents did. They wanted to be a child's first introduction to LGBTQ themes, to racial themes, to gender-based themes, instead of allowing a parent to sit down and have that conversation. But of course, Disney has received much pushback for allowing these characters and storylines to be present in their entertainment, and more importantly than that, they've been hit hard at the box office. If you've been following the Disney discourse, you will all remember the movie Lightyear. Now, in this Lightyear film, there was a same-sex kiss. There was an uproar about it. Parents did not want their kids watching it, and Lightyear ends up flopping at the box office. Now, after all of that, we get this headline, same-sex kiss restored in Pixar's Lightyear, following staff uproar over the Don't Say Gay bill. And we all know it's not the Don't Say Gay bill, but I digress, we don't need to go there today. So it seems like there is an incongruence between what the public wants in watching a Disney film and what their staff want. And the staff want to be able to indoctrinate children. You'll also remember that in the Spider-Verse film, there were trans flags, trans colors. There was actually a flag that said protect trans children. I believe Miles Morales also had a BLM pin or sticker on one of his accessories during the film. In Disney's Baymax, there was this scene where a man is in a supermarket or grocery store of some sort. He is buying feminine products while wearing a trans flag on his shirts. So we all know exactly what they're trying to say, or at least subliminally message towards. And now Disney is moving in a different direction. And interestingly enough, in reading this story, it uncovered something even more interesting, that at the time of the creation of this project, Disney had actually hired a 14-year-old actress to take on the role and to voice this character. Now I'll read from The Hollywood Reporter. It says, as it turns out, the voice actress whose character's arc has been changed is herself transgender. So they hired a transgender 14-year-old to play this role, which is wild to me, but we'll get into that in a moment. Disney informed Chanel Stewart, who is now 18, of the decision on Monday night. Stewart told the publication Deadline later on Tuesday that she was, quote, very disheartened, end quote. She was 14 when she won the role after responding to an opening casting call for a trans actress. Continuing, she said, quote, from the moment I got the script, I was excited to share my journey to help empower other trans youth. I knew this would be a very important conversation. Trans stories matter, and they deserve to be heard, Now, that's not the wildest thing I've ever heard. You hire a 14-year-old who is meant to be an actor. You're supposed to be a voice actor, which means you're supposed to assume a role that is not you, but instead you hire a trans kid because now every actor has to be the exact role that they're playing for some reason. So you take on this 14-year-old as an actress, thus reinforcing her identity and dedication to being trans and through undergoing a gender transition. Then you strip the role of its identity, further reinforcing her decision to be transgender, because you're now reinstating this dynamic of marginalization and the fact that trans kids are oppressed, and we need to tell the story of trans youth. There are so many layers of upness in this story that I don't even know where to start. But I gotta say, all in all, I'm glad that they've decided to remove this storyline. I don't think it's because Disney has had this massive change of heart and they're finally looking in another direction and respecting parents. I think it's the box office telling them exactly what they need to do with their storylines. I think it's the 2024 election mandating that they move in a different direction in the things that they're creating. They're watching as the American public looks them dead in the eyes and says, hey, we are not interested in what you are trying to sell us anymore. They're canceling their Disney Plus subscriptions. They're not going to the parks anymore. They're not showing up at the movie theaters, and they're not watching anything that Disney is putting out. When once in American history, every household was seemingly a Disney household. At least it felt that way. Disney had a stronghold on the American mind, but it has lost its grasp on what the American mind wants. And now it's moving forward with a new route, saying it's respecting parents and saying that parents should be able to have this conversation with their children. We'll see, and we'll see whether or not wins or loses when it finally is released. But I gotta say, this is the way to move forward. If you want to have these storylines or put LGBTQ themes into a story, you gotta at least do it in a way that makes sense. And this forced diversity, equity, and inclusion, if that's what we want to call it, is actually ruining opportunities for maybe incidental representation of these roles, of these characters, of these storylines where they make sense. But instead, you're taking a story where it doesn't make sense, you're forcing it down the throats of the people who are watching your content, and they're pushing it back out and saying, we don't want to watch this, and I'm certainly not going to pay you money in order for you to tell me how I should think and feel about my child's gender and sexuality. So I'm curious to hear from you guys on this. You let me know. Do you think that Disney is turning the corner, that they're finally realizing this is the wrong direction, or are they looking at numbers and that's just making the realization come a little bit quicker? Are they looking at a Trump presidency around the corner and thinking, yeah, maybe we need to start playing our cards that way and move in that direction? I think it's the latter. I don't think these executives and script writers deeply understand that they should not be self-inserting their political ideology into these projects. And I'd be on the lookout for more subliminal ways in which they are going to try and do this when they've been told that they can't outright force their ideology on you, because it's going to happen. There has to be something. We all know how Hollywood works. We all know who's working behind the scenes, and they cannot help but place themselves in these characters. And that is evidenced by the fact that when putting a transgender storyline together in a child's entertainment piece, they sought out children who are transitioning in order to do so. It's highly controversial, highly contested, and yet Disney decided that was the direction they wanted to go with. And now you're dealing with a disappointed transgender 18-year-old who now feels she's more oppressed and by Disney itself. Stunning. Stunning and brave, Disney. Thank you so much for maybe moving in the right direction, but we'll see if there's any consistency, because as I said before, we've heard many times that Disney is stepping out of the culture war, but I don't think it's the final time we'll have this conversation. Guys, let me know in the comments down below how you feel about this. If you like this video, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video for you guys. If you disagree with anything I said in this video, do get out, but do so respectfully. We encourage healthy debate on this channel, and this video is no exception. And with that, guys, I will see you next time. Bye.